Walking around Singapore is like moving through a real-life template for how to design the perfect city. I mean, just look at its arrival terminal. Heathrow Airport, this is not. So for the tourist, this means perfectly planned out panoramas, accessible food markets that have something for everyone, a plethora of diverse neighbourhoods that beg to be explored, and lots of shopping. Which, even if you aren't into, I promise the air conditioning alone is worth the brief escape from Singapore's thick humidity. That is, of course, when it isn't absolutely pouring it down, but should you even be concerned by its frequent rainy days? In total, we spent an entire week here, but in this video, we'll show you what the best 3 full days might look like and why, like us, you're probably going to love it. Admittedly, Singapore does come at a high price, such as this cocktail, costing an eye-watering 39 Singaporean dollars. And here we'll not only show you the must-visit attractions, but also how to save a decent chunk of money whilst doing it. If you're new here, then welcome. We make travel movies from around the world, hoping you might just find your next holiday inspiration. This is Suitcase Monkey, spending 3 slightly sweaty days in Singapore. The first day will be our most jam-packed. We were staying in Bugis, a great location that was very accessible to everywhere we'd later be visiting. For booking the hotel itself, our criteria was best rated, private, central, and relatively low cost, and we were really happy with what we got, despite its tiny size. We were basically just sleeping here, so the friendly staff, cleanliness, and location ultimately won through. Initially walking around Singapore, it's impossible not to be immediately taken by its diverse, impressive architecture. Despite much of the city centre being the epitome of human design, I love how nature still never gets forgotten, rounding off those sharp edges. But amongst all those skyscrapers, there's still plenty of heart and life to be found here. One such easy recommendation is Kampong Glam, one of Singapore's oldest urban quarters and a short walk from our hotel. Its history is a gentle mix of people, Arab, Malay, Indonesian, where old traditions now blend with a trendy lifestyle that caters well to visitors. A few years after Singapore became an important trading post for the British Empire, districts such as this one and Chinatown, which we'll see later, were officially laid out from the 1820s, hoping that some town planning would bring an order to the colony. After officially becoming a state of Malaysia in 1963, the partnership soured after 2 years, turning Singapore into the independent nation it is today. With all this growth, as well as building upwards, Singapore has also been building out. A mammoth 25% of the entire country as it sits today has been reclaimed from its surrounding waters. And nowhere is this better on display than Bay South, specifically Marina Bay Sands and Gardens by the Bay. Considering they only opened in 2010 and 12 respectively, it's so rare for national landmarks to become this recognisable this quickly. But I do remember first seeing these iconic super trees, as they're known, and it immediately putting Singapore on my radar. And even with the anticipation, I will say with confidence that walking around them in person did not disappoint. There really is something so futuristic yet majestic that immediately pulls you in. So what exactly puts the super into these trees? Well, some of them are laced with cells to harvest solar energy, much like the real thing, and some act as giant exhaust pipes. This allows the release of moisture and heat away from the nearby conservatories, helping their own management of energy. Although you can still get much of the experience by walking underneath for free, we paid extra to walk the Skyway, which for us was worth it but not essential. In a couple of weeks, I'll follow up this vlog with a more practical travel tips video, where I'll go through the pros and cons to the numerous ticket options and booking practicalities throughout Singapore. Gardens by the Bay is more than just its super trees though. Enter the Flower Dome and Cloud Forest. The Flower Dome is the largest glass greenhouse in the world and, spread over 3 whole acres, showcases flowers and plants from across the world. Fighting every urge I had to cover the plants with some gravel, we next moved on to the arguably more impressive Cloud Forest. Featuring the world's tallest indoor waterfall, its climate and unique plants replicate a real-life tropical mountain 2,000 meters above sea level, but all still playfully presented as fantasy. Despite this bold presentation and connection with Avatar, it never strays too far from its essence of simply being an exotic botanical garden. But for every collection of tropical plants, there'll also be a fun interactive element like this one, where you can explore the cloudy skies and look a bit of a tit whilst doing it. As you might have guessed, after the hotel, attraction tickets are the next biggest expense in Singapore, so we wanted to show you how we saved almost a third of the cost through using the sponsor of this video, Get Your Guide. Here's the standard entry price for some of the attractions we visited, and this was the cost through Get Your Guide, a meaningful saving in all. To achieve this, there are 2 types of pass available, and both allow entry to 40 plus of the most popular attractions. The first pass is the Explorer, which is the one we booked. This is best if you don't want to commit to too many attractions or want to spread them out. With this option, you can book anywhere from 2 to 7 attractions. Of the 7 we visited, we needed to book 2 of them in advance, one of them a week before, the other a few days before, but the rest were all just walk-ups and our digital tickets were scanned from our phone. But if you really want the most bang for your buck, there's also the all-inclusive pass. This is best if you want to explore as much as possible over a certain number of consecutive days, and it also includes entry to Universal Studios. I've made a single PDF guide with links to our hotel and all attractions visited in one place, which not only support the channel, but also help you planning a potential trip here. We next made our way to the magnificently grand Marina Bay Sands Hotel. Some say its unique design represents a boat gliding on the water, and it certainly does. But it also looks like your dad's right slipper balancing precariously on top of 3 slightly squeezed cereal boxes. Its observation deck sits 57 floors on top. It's the world's largest public cantilevered platform, overhanging the North Tower by 200 feet, with unobscured views of the city below. It is worth noting that the infinity pool and Crazy Rich Asians filming location is for hotel guests only, so you'll be left staring at what your life would have been like if only you'd made better choices. If you're visiting in the morning or mid-afternoon, you can join the relatively short queue for entry, but you'll need to book in advance for the evening. Inside Marina Bay Sands, or more accurately underneath and along its connected mall, you'll find a casino, luxury shopping, fancy dining, canals, theatres, and it's worth a wander out of curiosity alone. We found the mall food court here to be a solid option. It is pretty busy, but there is a heap of variety, and for Singapore, at a pretty reasonable price for our evening meal. As a massive fan of satay, I think this was my first of 4 similar orders to come, and these popia were great too, like a soft spring roll filled with meat and veg. If you only have one evening in Singapore, it should be along the various shores of Marina Bay, as you're literally spoilt for choice and it's all free. The Garden Rhapsody is held twice nightly, lasting 15 minutes and is definitely recommended. If you want a seat, it's advisable to get there about 30 minutes early, but there's still plenty of standing room if you just make it on time. After a pleasant 20-minute walk, we arrived at Spectra, a light water show held right in the middle of the bay. If you want to take yourself even further along the water's edge, there's an easy hour-long stroll in front, with a mixture of city vistas and nightlife. This first day will be the busiest, but tomorrow we'll be sampling a more local flavour. Morning, we'd booked ourselves onto a local hawker food tour around the must-visit area of Chinatown, and as luck would have it, so had two other Suitcase Monkey subscribers. Singaporean food is largely a combination of Chinese, Malay and Indian cuisines, and across the country there are 120 hawker food centres holding 13,000 stalls in all. The most surprising number of all, though, is that 40 of these stalls have been recommended by the Michelin Guide, serving dishes such as this curry chicken noodle. Other foods to highlight here was this chicken rice, which, although Chinese in origin, has become somewhat of a Singaporean national dish. This pandan cake was also great too, a light fluffy sponge that felt sweet but was so airy never became overbearing. For drinks, always be on the lookout for sugarcane. Its juice is extracted from squeezing the cane through a machine and is incredibly refreshing on a hot, humid day. Speaking of thirst, we next made our way to Raffles. Named after Sir Thomas Stamford Raffles, considered the founder of modern-day Singapore, this colonial-style hotel was established in the late 1800s as the place to be seen. Back in those days though, when men were men and things were more uneven, etiquette dictated that ladies couldn't consume alcohol in public. Because when you think about it, why should they? So in 1915, to entice the females, a savvy bartender at this very location created the original Singapore Sling cocktail. A drink that looked suitable for a delicate lady, but was actually gin, liqueur, pineapple and lime juice. It also had the added bonus of making the men seem interesting. There's also one other tradition here that still remains welcome, and that is this. Throwing your nuts on the floor is pretty liberating. In a country known for its strict rules, this is the only place in Singapore where littering is accepted, and that's why I was taking every opportunity to enjoy myself. I did see this one guy though who was either really trying to get his money's worth or was a squirrel in a past life. I entered the long bar with zero expectations and then actually really enjoyed our time here. Visually, the decor puts you back in time really well, a soft jazzy piano ballad sets the mood, and the Singapore Sling itself was enjoyable. Despite the 20-minute wait, once inside, it wasn't crowded and there was no sense of urgency to leave. If we were paying full price for this, I might have skipped it, but since it was included in the Explorer Pass, it was a unique attraction that I'm glad we got to experience, especially for this. Just 3 stops up the North-South line and we arrived at Orchard Road, Singapore's shopping paradise. I'm not usually a mall guy, but they're so integrated into life here, you're missing out on a small local aspect if you don't get lost at least once. Orchard Road is probably the most straightforward concentration of shops, but we also personally enjoyed Raffles City and Suntec City malls, but that was likely since they were just close to our hotel. Food courts are usually found on the lower floors and never disappointed us for a relatively low-cost lunch and even a few cheeky evening meals. For the last of our 3-day suggested itinerary, we're going to be going all out on some of Singapore's largest attractions. This is Sentosa Island. As a former British military base and Japanese prisoner of war camp, it clearly has all the markings for fun times. Almost 5 square kilometres in size, it's a quick monorail ride from the main island and immediately transports you to another world. There's a couple of beaches, a casino, tons of individual adrenaline rides, 2 golf courses, a Madame Tussauds, a cable car, and most surprisingly of all, a Universal Studios. There is a slight chance I'll be releasing a complete guide to beating the queues and winning at Universal Studios Singapore, so do let me know if that's of interest. If I do release it, it'll probably most likely be on our companion YouTube channel, Carry On Monkey, which is, if you can believe it, an even more light-hearted look at travel around the world, and currently 9 videos deep. There is one thing I wanted to note here though. This is not Universal Studios Florida. Although it still has many aspects that are fitting for that level of theme park, comparatively it is pretty small, and with some pre-planning, very possible to experience all the major thrill rides in a few hours. Unless, of course, you have children slowing you down, cramping your style. Since Universal only opens at 10 AM, beforehand it is possible to sneak in an hour-long trip to the Sea Aquarium next door. Now the second largest in the world, this aquarium holds 12 million gallons of water, 100,000 animals, and 800 species to keep you busy. Soaking in everything we could from Sentosa Island, we took our longest train journey yet to one of Singapore's most popular attractions. The Night Safari is a first of its kind. Unlike a traditional zoo which struggles with showcasing nocturnal animals during their daytime opening hours, this is an open-air tropical forest, open from 7 PM to midnight. Now do bear in mind that your eyes are much better than my camera, so these pictures do a slight injustice to the actual experience. But you can explore all of this safari through a 40-minute tram ride, along with 4 walking trails to take things at a slower pace. Of the 100+ species found here, around 40% are on the threatened or endangered list. Although I'm not usually a fan of zoos, this is done in a way that, although it is definitely a zoo in disguise, the illusion created does make you feel you're at a safari. Gone are the bars and cages, instead using cattle grids, plants and water moats. Adding the artificial moonlight to Singapore's humid skies and vocal purring insects, you almost forget where you are. As mentioned at the start of this video, if you were paying attention at least, we were actually in Singapore for a full week, and you've just seen what we would recommend for a typical stay. To see what we suggest for a 4th day, along with questions answered around public transport, booking tickets, and just how to get the most out of any visit here, do check out part 2 of this video, which I'll link once it's complete. Again, I've put all attractions, our hotel, and general info into one PDF guide, which you can use to plan your own trip, and thank you to Get Your Guide for making this video possible. Please give this video a like if you've gotten this far, subscribe for more travel vlogs such as this one, and as ever, thanks for watching, Suitcase Monkey.